Why do Americans hold on to imperial measurements? No way am I gonna start referring to enchiladas as 2.5 centimeter-ladas. What's wrong with the donut per bald eagle unit? We like to piss off Europeans. My wife used to work for the California Department of Transportation. They actually tried going to Medic at one time. It's now referred to as the dark days of Caltrans. So needless to say was abandoned. We don't use the 10 millimeters because we can never find it. If you know, you know, lol. I always assumed it came down to money. The US is massive, and now imagine the cost of replacing every single road sign from miles to km. Obviously that's just one example, but I think it displays how expensive and extensive of a process it would be. Why would you be afraid to ask this? A lot of us know both. We have both systems of measurement here. Our rulers, dials, thermometers, tape measurers, measuring cups, speedometers, and damn near anything else with units of measurement on it has both systems. Y'all act like metric is illegal here or something, but it's very commonly used in our day-to-day life. Of all the problems we need to solve, this doesn't even make the top 100. For the same reason the British use both. We're used to it, and it's tough to change centuries of precedent. Most of us can and do use both imperial and metric. Actual reason. Some pirates attacked a ship in the early 1800s. Why we haven't shifted recently? Why would we? It doesn't really make a difference in anything, and there are certain advantages to what you call imperial. Technically imperial equals US standard, but practically they're the same. For example, 12 is divisible by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 in itself. 10 is only divisible by 1, 2, 5 in itself, so you can get a third of a foot, but you can't get a third of a meter. The US, like most countries, have a blend of the two systems. For example, I order a pint of beer at the bar, but I buy a 2-liter of Coke at the store, along with a gallon of milk. I will, however, die on the hill arguing that Fahrenheit is superior to Celsius for daily weather. Do you personally know metric? Yes, lol. Conversions aren't that hard. A meter roughly equals a yard, plus a couple inches. 5 kms roughly equal 3 miles, plus a couple hundred yards. 22-ish degrees centigrade is room temp. 0 is freezing. Easy enough to figure out from there. Half liter roughly equals a pint. Edit. Typo in km to miles conversion. There are some advantages. It's just human-centric instead of atomic-centric. Fahrenheit is essentially a percentage of hotness to a human. 0 equals cold. 100 equals hot. When measuring something about the length of a human, the difference between 4 and 5 feet is a little easier to imagine than 120 and 150 centimeters. Or 1.2 meters and 1.5 meters. 0.10 is also a really awkward number to divide for a human, which is why the world uses base 12 for clocks instead of 10. Making an estimation of length is harder when you know what a meter is, but have to guess 2030 centimeters. Whereas a foot is approximately 1 foot's length. 3 inches is 1/4 th. 4 inches is 1/3 road, etc. The same happens in volume. What does 235 milliliters look like? 1 cup? Easy. 1/3 cup? Easy. You can double or have your cooking recipes without a calculator, scale, graduated cylinder. You could draw attention to miles versus km. But people don't really use miles in their everyday lives. They use time. I'm about 15 minutes from work by car. Obviously, metric is way better for precision. representation of extremely large or small numbers, science, and computers. But imperial is a little bit more flexible, and is better for a layman to use every day. American schools do teach both, and I believe they should continue to do so. Whenever this comes up, I always ask the person if they had translated their great-grandmother's handwritten recipes into metric. The US officially adopted the metric system decades ago, but there are trillions of dollars in infrastructure around the imperial system that it will take generations to replace. Because lots of things are already built around using imperial measurements. It's not as simple as just deciding the whole country is using metric measurements tomorrow. Both are used in America. You learn both in school. Why is this posted every 3 days? Everything in science, engineering uses metric, and I own imperial and metric toolsets. We aren't even the only country that does this. I live in a part of the country where kilometers are put on highways signs. It's just the way it is, and people from outside the US have a weird fixation on it. We use both. It works and it's a part of our history, so why not? Counter question: why change it? You need a reason for action. It would also be easier for everyone to speak the same language or have the same religion. But it's not going to happen. Why does our units of measurement seem to keep people up at night? Honestly, why do people outside the United States even care? I always see questions like this come up. It's our problem, we use imperial measurements. How does this affect outside countries? Many of us were taught metric and use it for school, work, etc. It's just not standard. But I don't see why people outside the United States care about this so much. Really not that big of a deal as you make it out to be. We don't measure things the same as you guys. So what? How would the average American using metric system rather than imperial improve anything for you guys?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.